Let's talk about Bill Maher. Bill Maher, who has been unbelievably condescending, derisive, and hostile to Trump, and treating Trump,
Well, and to right-wingers, let's face it.
right-wingers
Yeah.
generally. But
Yeah.
I always find it funny when you have a guy who's basically a comedian. He tells Trump, you don't know how to negotiate, or you don't know how to build a building, or you don't know how to run a business, you don't know how to run a country. And I'm thinking, do you? What is the angle from which you're offering this critique? What base of knowledge are you bringing to this assessment? Well, finally, apparently, I don't know who it was. Maybe it was this.
It was Kid
Kid
Rock.
Rock
Yeah.
convinced Bill Maher. He kind of brokered this meeting. Bill Maher goes to see Trump. Apparently, Dana White is there from the UFC
Yeah.
and Kid Rock.
Yeah.
And then Bill Maher comes out and gives this quite disarming. He says Trump is not what he expected.
That's right.
Right?
He says he has two personas.
Right.
He has a public persona and a private persona. And that's exactly what I said when we met him, remember?
Right. Apparently, Bill Maher went in with a bunch of, he had his staff make all the insults that Trump had hurled against him, and he shows it to Trump. I think he thought he would throw Trump off, and guess what Trump does? Trump, without batting an eyelid, takes his pen and signs it. Donald Trump hands it back to him. Kind of like, you may want to frame this, which is very Trumpian.
That's hilarious.
Total Trump move. But I think what really struck him wasn't even that. It was that he said Trump was real. He said, with Trump, first of all, it's not all about him.
No.
He goes, when Trump asks him a question, he's not just looking to score a point. He genuinely wants to know what Bill Maher thinks about it. And so he listens to Bill Maher's answer and engages.
That's right.
And then Bill Maher says, and this I think was the crusher, he goes, the Democrats don't have anyone like this. He goes, they need somebody who has this kind of authenticity. They don't have it. I mean, if you look at the even AOC plays at authenticity, but she's not really authentic. She's a fake. So she'll go to the border and cry, but then immediately, realize she's not crying the moment the cameras turn off. Or at 9/11, not 9/11, but at January 6th, she's like, "Oh, my life is in danger."
Right.
I'm 911. But it's theatrical.
Hiding in her office, and it wasn't even there.
That's right.
Yeah.
She's in a different building.
Right. Yeah.
So she's a faker.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kamala Harris is a faker.
Right.
And I told you the latest news, which is that apparently Kamala Harris is exploring the idea of starting a think tank.
Yeah, I know. When you
of
told
all
me,
things.
when you told me that, I was like, "Isn't that? Don't you require a brain for that? I mean, that would be,
I mean,
something that
it would
might
be
wanna think
interesting
about.
to see if the type of people who would fund that would go, you know what, that's a really great idea. You are one of our most advanced. I mean, I can see Obama pulling that off, even though Obama himself is a fraud and a faker himself.
I was gonna say,
but he can at least plays that role.
Yeah.
I'm a constitutional professor, never taught a class or published a single scholarly article, but still he had the ability to he had the panache to pull it off.
Yeah.
Kamala does not.
Right. No, Trump is definitely, when I was reading about his account of the meeting, that is exactly how I felt when I went in there, because I didn't know what to expect. If you listen to the media, Trump is this egotistical person who only cares about himself. He's just wants a photo op with you, whatever. Not true. Not true. He is extremely nice, very interested in what you have to say. And remember, he did kind of show us a little bit of the soft side of him, which he will not do, and he didn't do in the interview that you did with him for vindicating Trump. I wanted that to come out because I wanted people to see what I saw in the Oval Office. And
I
we
think
didn't
what
get
it
to see
is
that.
that he was facing this juggernaut of lawfare, right? That is a time when you don't want to show weakness. And obviously, I mean, look at my own case, right? When I was going before the judge, I would never show vulnerability. In fact, I appeared downright cheerful. about my sentence. And he would ask me things like, how's it going? And I would just say, it's going great. So I think I threw him off a little bit because I seemed to be enjoying it a bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
But what I mean is I wasn't really going to, he was looking for a blubbering routine from me. He wanted that. That would have been very gratifying to him.
Yeah.
I never gave it to him.
He wanted to see you beg for mercy.
He wanted me to grovel. He wanted me to be repentant. He wanted me to claim to be a different person. Yeah. And even his psychological counseling.
That may have saved you 8 months of overnight confinement. I'm just saying. Just saying.
But honestly, look, you met me. You met me on the very edge of all that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I honestly think I have gotten a much better grasp of the reality of the world. As you know, I'm capable of being a little naive about people, but I've become less naive as a result of that whole experience. I've become more savvy in an area where I wasn't so savvy. I was savvy about ideas, but not so savvy about people. I'm more savvy about people, and I'm more savvy about the gangsterization of the other side. I know I was naive about that prior to my case. So I'm actually delighted. I won't say delighted, glad I went through that. Tariffs have thrown the global economy into chaos. Potential widespread inflation tied to massive supply chain disruption is weighing heavily on a lot of people. But there is a silver lining that a lot of people have missed. President Trump specifically exempted gold and silver bullion from these sweeping tariffs. Policies are triggering significant financial chaos, but the administration preserved your ability to diversify into precious metals. If you're concerned about your savings, I encourage you to have a free consultation with a Birch Gold Precious Metals specialist. The first step, text Dinesh to 989898. You get a free, no obligation information kit on gold. Learn how to hold gold and silver in a tax-sheltered account. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a gold IRA for no money out of pocket. Debbie and I buy our gold from Birch Gold. Isn't it time you did too? Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy customers. So go ahead, text my name, Dinesh, to the number 989898.